I just don't like you no more. Hey film friends, I'm Nick Furman. This is Furman on Film. Welcome to the channel. Well guys, it's official. It's award season, baby. So we need to start talking about great films with great performances that we could see on Oscar Sunday and all the other ceremonies before it. Towards that end, in today's video, we'll be reviewing The Banshees of Inisherin. If you're new to the channel, our format is simple. So we'll start off with a quick synopsis of the plot of the film. Then we'll discuss our likes and dislikes. And then we'll conclude with a bit of deeper analysis and some of my own original thoughts about the film. Now, for those of you who know the deal, and this is old hat, feel free to skip around and use the timestamps in the description below. And of course, as always, please stay to the end to get our FOF rating out of 5 stars. Without further ado, this is The Banshees of Inisherin. The premise of this film is the most simple of stories. It's like one child approaching another on the playground and saying, "I don't want to be friends anymore." And then we're off. Only this time, it's 1923, and it's a fictional isle off the coast of Ireland. And we've got 2 friends, named Padraig, played by Colin Farrell, and Colin, who's played here by Brendan Gleeson. The 2 of them reach an impasse of sorts when one decides that he wants to end their lifelong friendship. Baffled by this proclamation, Padraig decides that he must make amends and fix this broken relationship. And then from there, some things escalate until no one knows just how far this feud will go. Now, it's not hard for me at all to identify things that I really liked about this film. This is just such a great opening, trying to figure out the mystery of why Colm is behaving in this way. I just don't like you no more. And we're left wondering why. But that's the thing, the writing in the first half hour of this film is just unreal. It just moves and pulses and it has its own cadence and rhythm. I've heard people compare this story, this script, to things as far and wide as David Mamet or the Coen brothers, but it just has this unique Irish flair that really could only belong to Martin McDonagh's writing. And it's clear that his gifts as a playwright come through in this screenplay's construction. Are you rowing? Seems like we're rowing. I just love the language of this film. It's almost like the vernacular is its own character in the proceedings. The setting is terrific as well. It's this island coastline, a unique bubble where everyone sort of knows everyone else and nothing is really secret or private. The way that our main character is getting stonewalled, like all of these beautiful stone walls which line the town as you're moving to and from the island. This freaking guy with the word plays. Second thing I loved about this, the acting in this film is top notch. Here's something that we learned definitively in 2022. Sad sack, hanging head Colin Farrell is just the best. Between this and After Yang, this sort of somber, more reflective side of Colin Farrell is proving to be a really good one. And of course, Brendan Gleeson is always a solid performer. And I just have to stop and say, because I haven't seen it or heard it as much as I think it deserves, Kerry Condon's performance in this film is absolutely incredible. As Siobhan, who is Padraig's sister, she's really the heart and soul of the picture. She's also the mediator between these 2 grown men who are just behaving badly. She absolutely deserves to be nominated for an Oscar for this performance, and I will be rooting for her on that Sunday. Yet another thing that I think is so well done that I really loved about this film is it is just the perfect length. You know, my best friend called me out this week and he just said, "Nick, you gotta stop saying that every movie is too long." But I honestly think that's been the truth with about a dozen films this year. Look, if your picture is over 2.5 hours, it better be damn near The Godfather. And that's simply just not been the case with a bunch of stuff. But this film, The Banshees of Inisherin, is the perfect length. It runs close to 2 hours. It never drags. The writing always pops and sizzles. The performances are solid. I loved every moment of it, and I just thought it was perfectly well paced. I'll conclude this section by saying that this is about the best balance of comedy and tragedy, humor and danger that I've seen in a very long time. And so now we move on to the cons. So if we're looking at the things I did not like about the Banshees of Inisherin, I gotta be honest guys, there's just not a lot here. My biggest dig on this film is more of a me problem than something with the actual plot or story. It's this issue I have with movies where characters do stupid things that I feel like no logical person would do. Now, if you saw the film, you know exactly what I'm referring to here. Let me give you a hint. This really hung me up for a while after I watched the film. Why would you claim you want one thing and then go and do another? But as I stepped back, I realized two things. One, this is called irony. It's actually a great literary tool. Duh. In the real world, people act at cross purposes all of the time. So after deeper reflection, really most of my criticisms just fell away on this one. In terms of major themes or personal thoughts, I think there are a couple key words. The first is legacy. I'm talking about the idea of leaving a legacy to fill some kind of void that exists within. Here we have a character who's going through an existential crisis. Someone who's experiencing despair. A man who's just simply searching for a little peace of mind as he reflects on aging and his contributions to the world. The question of legacy is something I think that all of us wrestle with. What will I be known for? What will last that I've accomplished? And the cool thing about McDonagh's writing and what he's directed here is that we feel our allegiances shift between these two men as we watch them act out and make choices throughout the course of the film. And I think a big takeaway is that the relationships we have matter more than the things that we've produced and leave behind us. And yet, having the same old, inane conversations with dullers can suck the very life out of us. And so we find ourselves siding with both men and the woman who is trying to talk some sense into them. Martin McDonagh just walks that tightrope so well. For our second point, the word of the day is escalation. This is a story that starts with the smallest stakes possible and yet escalates into a Shakespearean tragedy. The way things move along, we get this very ominous feeling that things are gonna end badly for our main characters. And I have to mention that the setting, what's going on in the main island that we kind of see in the background, is I think significant as well. McDonagh deliberately sets this in 1922-23 when the Irish Civil War is happening, and we actually see bombs exploding off in the distance. And so these two men on the island are kind of like a microcosm of that entire conflict. And not only that, but they kind of represent the whole entirety of the human experience on this planet. Factions and disagreements, feuds, just warring and arguing over little trifles. Before we conclude, I want to give a brief reflection on the title. Banshees were these female spirits in Gaelic folklore who would wail and scream, and it was thought to be an omen of impending death. In this film, The Banshees of Inisherin is the title of the musical piece that Colin is composing. But there happens to be this old woman who is just kind of wandering around this town as well. But what I really liked about it is the way that McDonagh sort of subverts this, because he said that in today's world, the Banshees no longer shriek, but they may actually just be laughing, which is a statement about nihilistic existence if I've ever heard one. So to conclude, this is a film about loneliness, about legacy and existential despair. A picture about unfriending. That's a word that just got added to the modern dictionary, right? A powerful and moving tale that just balances so many things exceptionally well. Well, there you have it. The only thing left for us to discuss is our score for this film. The FOF rating for The Banshees of Inisherin is 4.5 out of 5 stars. If you enjoyed this review, please let us know by smashing that like button and subscribing to the channel. You can also hit that little bell so you get notified every time we release a new video. We would also love to hear your comments. Do you agree with our rating? What was your score? And please don't forget to head on over to FurmanOnFilm.com, where you can get your movie fix on written reviews, deep dives, and so much more. Thanks for watching. I'm Nick Furman. This is Furman on Film. Stay firm, my friends.